So stretching and winding in a way that feels nourishing for your spine, for your body. Maybe you want to take the hands further forward so the hips can drop a little bit, or maybe it feels good to keep the wrists underneath the shoulders, keep them contained. See if you can release your toes, release the fronts of your feet. And then we'll start to come into a movement. It's just a little rocking from side to side with hips and shoulders. You're going to make a kind of zigzag shape. So the hips kind of zigzag back and they zigzag forward, and so do the shoulders. So they kind of come forwards and then we come back. And when you come backwards, you're going to round a little bit through the spine. So it gets a nice length through the back of the spine. And you can just take yourself forwards and just move little zigzags side to side, shifting the weight in towards the hands and then back towards the heels. Lovely stuff. And then next time you draw back, we'll just come to a rest for a moment in child's pose. So bring yourself down to the ground, hips towards heels, and let the head rest either on the ground or on a cushion. And feel your breath move through your spine. You can imagine the breath moving down towards the lower spine or the hips or anywhere that feels achy. And sometimes this achiness can be a mixture of the physical and the psychological blocks or things we're holding in the body. So use the breath to imagine this sense of soothing, a sense of release. And then whenever you're ready, slowly bringing yourself back up to hands and knees. Lovely. We're going to take the right leg, extend it behind you. The right leg draws out, foot flexes, and the hips stay quite nice and steady here. And then stretch your left hand forwards if you're able, if that feels good. And then we'll bring everything back down to center. Go on to the other side. So left leg extends, right arm. So really nice and steady and slow, really carefully placing the hand back down, the knee back down, reaching out as if you're touching something in front of you. And the back heel presses, and we feel this sense of length through the body. It's quite a graceful movement if you can feel relatively graceful. So take your time and move. Getting this sense of strengthening the middle of the body. And if for any reason it doesn't feel good, remember, as always, it's just for you. Might mean keeping the toes on the ground. It might be just moving the arms or just moving the legs rather than doing both at the same time. So just adjust and see what feels best for you. And just feel the body moving and the possibility as we move of shifting our mood and how we feel. Perfect. And then bring everything back down when you're ready. Let's tuck the toes here and either round up and back through the spine, so pushing the heels of the hands away, or lifting your knees if you want to, come into a little brief downward facing dog with the knees a little bit bent so that the weight of the hips can come back over the heels. Feel like you're pushing the ground away so that the backs of the shoulders get a lovely stretch and your ribs, the front ribs are near the thighs, front of the thighs. And then slowly bring yourself a little bit forward, bringing the knees back down towards the ground. We're going to extend that right leg behind us again. Flexing the foot, feeling the toes peel towards your shin. And then we're going to step that foot forward, coming into a little lunge here. Going to interlace the hands, turn the palms up. You can either think about lifting here, being nice and tall and long, or it might feel good to rock the pelvis forwards just a touch so that your upper spine can lean back just a little bit. So it's often the kind of back bend that shouldn't tweak the lower spine, but if it does, just stay nice and tall rather than getting this sense of leaning back. Lovely. And then let's release the hands. Bring your left hand down to the ground, and you can just roll onto the outer edge of the right foot if that feels good. And then lift up the right hand towards the sky. Unfurl here and feel this space across the collarbone, space across the chest. And then bring hand back down, knee back down. Coming back to all fours. Come back to a little wiggle side to side with the hips and shoulders. Lovely, back to centre. And then left leg extends out behind you. So again, maybe the toes lift off the ground, maybe they're on the ground. And you just get very long here for a moment. Crown of the head shifts forwards. And then step that foot forwards and come into your lunge here. And same again, maybe interlacing one finger along this time and lifting the hands up. And maybe you're tall, or maybe you're tipping the pelvis forwards as a touch of leaning back, as if someone's holding you in that space behind the heart with their hands on your body, supporting you. And then releasing hands, coming back onto all fours. And let's tuck the toes again. And the same thing, either coming back and arching, rounding the spine, or maybe lifting up into a downward facing dog with bent knees, shifting the weight of the pelvis back. So a release of the spine, pushing the heels of the hands into the ground. Lovely, and then coming forwards again, just to drop the knees. And we'll come to a little high kneel here. You're going to just bring your knees towards each other. So a little, maybe tiny little gap between the knees. And just take your hands, interlace them behind you. And just lift up, knuckles up and back now. Just for a moment. Lovely, then release hands. We're going to bring them to the back of your head now, so interlacing the back of your head. And take awareness to your breath. The elbows can draw back a little bit here, and maybe the chin lifts and you just lift slightly through the throat. You take a breath in, on the breath out, lift your pelvic floor and release on the inhale. And then one more time, exhale, lifting the pelvic floor. And then inhale, release. And let's come upright again. We'll bring the hands back down. Just take your knees hip distance again. We'll tuck the toes, and then from here, slowly come into a forward fold. So you can shift yourself to hang in a forward fold. And it might feel nice to really release out the head here and to release out the spine by swaying a little bit. Imagine yourself like a ragdoll, nice and heavy. We'll look at Neanderthal man with the arms really dangling, coming back to centre whenever you're ready. And either rolling up through the spine, so one vertebra stacking on top of each other, or you can have hands on thighs and kind of hinge up to come and stand here. And to find your mountain pose, so feet hip distance apart, we'll just lift the toes and spread them back down. And get a sense of centering yourself over your thigh bones. So often we lean a little bit forwards. We're going to think about the hips just coming over the thigh bones. And so you can really spread through your toes, spreading your weight from each side of the foot to the other. And you're spreading your weight also from front to back of the foot. So we're really centered over the middle of the foot now. And just let your shoulders take a few little circles here. And rather than the shoulder girdle doing all the work, you're going to use your arms as well to lift the shoulders a little bit. Taking any bend in the arms that feels good, and then maybe the other direction. And just move your head and neck if it needs to move, so we can feel like we're creating a bit more space here. And then bring the shoulders and drop them down, feeling heavy for a moment. I'll take a breath in, lift the arms up here, nice and wide. And exhale, fold forwards, really allowing the weight again to tip in towards toes. We'll breathe in to lift halfway, fingertips to shins, stretching the crown of the head forward. And exhale, folding forwards again, belly soft. Breathing in to come up and lift the arms nice and wide. Feel like you're lifting here through the crown of the head. Exhale, hands back down to center. One more time, lifting the arms as you breathe in. Nice and light through the crown of the head. Exhale, folding forwards, belly soft. Breathing in a lightness as you come up halfway. Exhale, rocking forwards, folding forwards. And then breathing in to lift the arms nice and wide. And then exhale, hands back to your heart. And then the right hand is going to lift up behind you, so circle back. As it comes forwards, we're going to bend both knees. So you come into a little squat here, a little kind of chair pose flow. Breathing in to lift and stretch through that side body, space in the side ribs. And just keep moving like this. And you might want to move slow, or you might want to build up a bit of momentum and kind of find a bit of a swinging of the arm. And see where else in the body you can release. This left shoulder can be nice and floppy. And just continuing a few times. You might want to move with the breath, or you might want to. Turning my heater off. Or you might want to just move freely. And then the next time the arm comes forward, it's going to just meet your thigh, meet the front of the thigh. We'll come to a little crouch here with a sense of your tailbone drawing away from you. So length through the spine, no tweaking there in the spine. And then we're going to stretch the left hand up and back. So you come to a little twist here, reaching back, making sure your knees feel nice and level and steady as you reach back here. And then hand comes back to thigh. Let's slowly straighten up from here and lift the left arm up and back, the circle, and then bending through the knees. And again, maybe you're working with the breath, moving with the breath, or maybe you're kind of swinging, moving a bit faster, or maybe you're alternating between the two. Just feel yourself, sit bones coming down towards heels. And feel the energy moving through your body. Lovely. And then next time arm comes forward, we'll rest it on that thigh. We'll come to just pause for a moment here. Let the shoulder bones drop a little bit so there's a breadth through the collarbones. Lovely. And then hand resting on the left thigh. We'll reach the right arm back, coming to a little twist here. Get a sense that the hips and knees are level. We're just reaching back with the arm. Torso twists. And then hand comes forwards. Let's fold forwards, release through the legs. A little sense of letting go again with the head and neck as weight shifts into your toes. And maybe the head shakes gently no, which can be an important word, no. And then maybe says yes gently as well, or nod of the head. Lovely. And then slowly bringing yourself up again, either through this roll or through a lift, through a hinge at the hips, coming upright again. We'll take a shake through the fingertips, shake through the wrists, as if you're shaking anything off that isn't useful to you. The shoulders can shake a little bit as well, maybe one leg and then the other. So softness, looseness in the joints. Maybe a few breaths out through the mouth. And then maybe both feet on the ground, taking a few little bounces. And again, shoulders, arms can release. Well, I don't know if you're doing this with your baby. It's quite a good one to do with the baby. A few of these breaths. And one big last one. And then come upright. Just rest, pause here. Maybe one hand on the head, belly and heart if your hand's free. And if you're not, just hold your baby. Just feel a little bit of tingling perhaps from stillness after movement. Let the shoulders drop again. And then let's go again one more time. So shaking if you can, shaking your wrists, bouncing, maybe one leg and then the other. So whatever you can do in terms of who you're with. You can see some very good booty shaking. You're feeling a weight drop in a really satisfying way into joints. Maybe shaking up a little bit higher. Remember, if you're knackered and it's not helping, then just slow it down, take it a bit quieter. So one last big breath out. Then again, pause, hands on body if you can. Sense of being centered again over the thigh bones, so you're nice and tall, standing tall like a mountain. And there, the heart rate just slow here. Perfect. When you're ready, if your hands free, we're going to stretch the arms up and then come into a forward fold again. Exhale. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, folding forwards again. And then coming all the way up. Lifting hands up, hands come to heart. We can rest the hands at the heart, taking the feet nice and wide, turning the toes out, so relatively wide. So what's good for you postnatally might not be a massive stretchy wide leg position. And take a breath in here, and you're going to take your hands upwards on the breath in. Breath out, we're going to pull the pelvic floor gently up and bend the knees. So just coming to a little goddess squat here. So breathing in, hands come up and the pelvic floor releases. And then exhale, you just gently pull up. And it might be a little movement, and it really might be, subtle. It might be the feet coming a bit closer together. And just feeling this tailbone draw down. So almost as if your hands and wrists are being lifted by something on that breath in, and then you're really allowing everything to float down and be heavy. So when we lift the pelvic floor, we're still maintaining a softness in the shoulders, tops of shoulders, and the jaw. It's just this one area of the body that we're gently engaging. Lovely. Let's do it one last time. Breathing in, softening pelvic floor. Breathing out to come down. And we'll pause here for a moment. Bring yourself forwards. Hands can come to thighs. And just rock forward if that feels good in your spine. You let the bottom come out behind you. Sit bones nice and wide. And then we'll give the left thigh a little push so you come into a little twist here. So a little push of the left hand against thigh. And then coming to the other side, pushing against the right thigh. Lovely, then back to center from here. And let's straighten the legs, come upright now. And turn the toes parallel, feet parallel, towards each other. If your hand's free, you can stretch the hands up nice and wide. I think everyone is reaching up here. Hands come together. And then exhale, we're going to hinge forwards, coming to the forward fold again, letting your bottom really lift out behind you. Belly soft. And then breathe in, coming upright again. As if you're being lifted again, as if something's helping you find some lightness. And then exhale, letting the crown of the head shift downwards. So nice little sense of momentum perhaps again. The breath is lifting you. And if you feel lightheaded at all, of course you can pause or move more slowly. We'll just come one last time to hang forwards and then just stay here for a moment. You can release the hands. They can hang or they can just press on your thighs. Again, let your belly be soft, let your weight shift into toes. Lovely. And then come upright. So again, hinging or rolling up, coming to stand. And then we'll heel toe the feet towards each other. And we'll come into a little balance. So you can shift your weight towards your right and lift your left foot off the ground. We'll just come into some small hip circles here. So circling through the hip. Standing nice and tall, but shoulders dropping. If there's any pain, if it doesn't feel good, then just bring both feet to the ground, or you can imagine you're on a little step machine, and we'll just step through each foot. Otherwise, circling gently here. And you can change directions with that little circle. Lovely. And then when you're ready, bring that foot back down, come to the other side. You can always take your gaze to a steady point if you don't feel steady. Just feeling in here, so how this feels. It can be nice to take one hand on the tailbone, one hand on the belly, maybe just feel the kind of bony parts of the pelvis or the hips, the crests of the hips. And you feel yourself lifted up through the crown of the head. And change direction whenever you're ready. Any pain or any niggles, just come back down. You can always give the leg a little break. And then when you come back in again, sometimes it's slightly reset. So when you're ready, let's come back to both feet. And then we'll tip our weight towards the right again. And really slowly, mindfully, you'll come into a tree pose. Just peeling the foot off the ground, bringing the foot somewhere into the inner part of the leg, somewhere comfortable. Standing nice and tall here. And maybe your gaze comes right in front of your eyes and your hands reach up, a beautiful tall tree. So feeling this growth through the crown of your head, but still feeling very rooted in that foot, the sense of the roots of the tree going down deeper than just the surface. Lovely. Then release hands back down, foot back down. And then come to the other side whenever you're ready. So really mindfully tipping yourself towards your left. Toes peel away from the ground. Foot comes somewhere on the inner leg. You find that sense of breadth across the chest, height for your body. And then hands reach nice and wide. So where can you feel grounded and where can you feel lifted and light? Just a breath or two more here. Beautiful. So nice. Perfect. Then come back onto both feet when you're ready. We'll take a few swings of the arms here. So arms can feel like they're nice and heavy. And again, that can feel quite nice in the spine because we're using the weight of the joints to pull and release tightness. So just see how it feels. If it's too much, just take the movement a little bit smaller, but otherwise it can feel quite nice to allow a little bit of a slap of the hands on the back of the body. Lovely, and then we'll come back to center. Just pause for a moment here in your Tadasana, and then we'll take the hands to the back of the head if you can. Don't worry if you're holding a baby, you can still do some of this perhaps, or perhaps one hand on the back of the head. And then we'll just come into a nice slow circle with the torso. So if you're holding your baby, you can still perhaps do this. We're just going to come to a little side stretch and then start to rock into a little bit of a forward fold. So your knees might be slightly bent, rocking forwards and slowly coming upright. And once you come all the way up, really nice and slow, we'll just come down the other way. So feel the sort of support of the hands at the back of the head if you're in that position, which can be really soothing. Nice and slow. Lovely. So let's just come down one last time, whatever side you're working with. And then we'll come upright again. And then from here, again, elbows drawing back a little bit. Feeling your tailbone draw down towards the ground. We'll just come to a little side stretch, so towards your right first of all. Just feeling the left side of the body open up. And you sort of drop a little bit here. Maybe the hand comes under the head if it feels heavy. It feels nice to support the head. It does for me. And then coming upright again. Other side. Again, maybe holding the weight of the head. Breathing into the right side of the body. It's like opening up like an accordion. Perfect. And then gently coming upright again from here. Release your hands and just slowly bring yourself to the back of your mat. So feet about hip distance. One last chance to stand nice and tall. And we'll come down by folding forwards. So we're going to end up on hands and knees if that works for you. So you can bring chin down towards your chest. And then start to bend the knees whenever you're ready, whenever feels good. Enough so that the hand can come on the ground, and then the other. Bring yourself to all fours. And then from here, come back into a few circles, so circling the hips. One direction and then the other. Okay, perfect. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, and we'll take the knees to one side and just let the other hip drop down. You're going to bring yourself to line your back whenever you're ready, if you're able to, so shifting to line your back. And again, your feet are going to be on the ground, so bring yourself all the way back with the knees up towards the sky. And then once you're there, you're going to let the knees windscreen from side to side. Windscreen wipers, heavy legs, the thigh bones just lowering down one at a time. Lovely. And then letting them pause when you come to the right side. Just staying a little supine twist here just for a moment. And breathing into the left side of the body. And that sense of it opening up gently like an accordion. And then bringing the knees back to center, coming onto the other side. Just lowering the legs down, breathing into the right side of the body now. Some of you doing this sitting up, or you're not able to do the whole thing. That's totally fine. Lovely. And then knees back to center if you are on your back. And then from here, we'll just come into a little stretch of the outer part of the hip, outer part of the thigh. So you can bring your right ankle over the left knee. And you can either press the right leg away, or you might want to pull the left thigh a little bit towards you and breathe into the outside of the right hip, outside of the right thigh. A few breaths here. Lovely, and then you can release that left foot back down if it is lifted off the ground. And keeping your right leg crossed over your left thigh, you're just going to let the sole of the right foot come down towards the ground. So you lower the left thigh down towards the ground and just pause here in a little twist. If it doesn't feel comfortable to have the ankle in the same position on the thigh, just move it somewhere, maybe on top of the calf or thigh, and let the hands relax here for a moment. Lovely, and then bring the knees back up to centre. Come onto the other side, so left ankle crosses over right, and again maybe pushing the left thigh bone away or bringing the right thigh in towards you. You might want to stay there, be steady and breathe into the left side of the hip, or even have a little rock from side to side. Backs of shoulders nice and soft here. And then if the foot's off the ground, lowering it gently down. And then bringing the sole of the left foot down towards the left, down towards the right, dropping down, becoming to a little side stretch again, side stretch on your back. If your hands are free, it can be quite nice to have this sort of cactus arm shape that come up beside the ears. And again, that can help the backs of the shoulders release it to the ground. If you have your baby on or with you, just do what you can. Perfect, and then bringing the knees back up to centre, just unravelling yourself. And if you're able to, one last time, just taking a hug of the knees in towards the chest, maybe taking the knees a little bit wider, pointing up towards your armpits. And then if you want to go into happy baby, you can reach the outer edges of the feet and just give a little push-pull, so a pull of the back of the sides of the feet towards you as you push up a little bit with the heels. And again, maybe it feels good to rock a little bit here or to stay still. A sense again of the heaviness of the shoulders and the ground. And then releasing everything back down to the ground. And if you can, come to a rest position or the best position for you to be in with your baby. So it might be lying on one side with some props, maybe with a cushion underneath the head or in between the knees. Or on your back, and if you're on your back again, cushion underneath the knees can be really nice and supportive. So taking a little moment here, if you can, just to get cozy, get comfortable, pillows, blankets, socks, an extra layer. Being where you can be right now. That might be sitting and that might be playing. You can just extend your awareness, knowing that others in the class are in a similar position, whether that's an ability to rest right now or to rest with attention slightly on something else, or sitting, eating, playing. Some awareness of that common shared reality being pulled in lots of different directions, and how hard that can be. Just letting yourself again feel how you feel. And if you're able to rest and really let go, Shavasana style, then great. If it helps to focus the mind a little bit on the breath, we can think about coming back to long, slow exhales. Each breath out, another little bit of release, a bit of surrender for the last few moments. So a sense of returning to the breath we started with, the breath of bringing in a bit of what you need on the inhale and releasing a bit of what you don't on the exhale. So maybe a slightly more energizing breath now, breath drawing in and breath drawing out and releasing. So you're very welcome to stay where you are, or if you're wanting to move and you're on your back, then just do so slowly. So you might want to come onto your side first of all if you're on your back, if you haven't got a baby on top of you. Just be here for a moment in fetal position. And then whenever you're ready, you can come to sit. And if your hand's free, you might want to take a hand or two on the body, so maybe one on the heart, one on the belly. And just bow your head down towards yourself. We'll take 3 last breaths together, wherever you are. We'll take a breath in through the nose and a releasing breath softly out through the mouth. Breathing in, letting go. Breathing in and letting go. And then letting the breath return to normal, its normal pattern. And then whenever you're ready, looking up, opening the eyes. Thank you all so much. It's been so lovely to have this time with you. And I'll see some of you a bit later in the week, but for some of us, it's the last time we'll see each other properly for a while. But I'm very much around on social media and email and all that. So keep me in touch with how you're doing, all your news. And I'm sure I'll be moaning lots in the next 6 to 9 months about being a new mum. And I need your advice at that point. You can remind me of all the things that we've shared. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care. See you sometime
Thank
soon.
you, Chloe. It's been wonderful. Best of luck.
Take care. Thanks, Rachel. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care, Victoria.
Take care.
Bye-bye. See you soon. Take care, Angela.
Bye.